Hey everyone, I hope you're well. Today I want to talk about footsteps because every legend has a unique set of footstep sounds, and if you can learn the differences, it can help you sort of know what you're going to go up against in a fight. Now, some are very easy to tell and some are a little bit more difficult. And in this video I'm going to play all of the sounds and you can have a go at trying to guess if you recognize which footstep belongs to what legend. After I reveal which legend it is, I'll give you some hints so that you can recognize that sound in the future. Before we get into it, I just want to play a little clip which shows just how accurate this can be, and basically this clip was me trying to get some footage as I was using a new tactic for Bangalore that can be used against Lifeline. I'll show that in a future video. But what I needed to do is hunt down Lifeline players, so I needed to listen very carefully for Lifeline footsteps. So I'll play that clip now and then we'll jump into the footstep test. Leave your predictions below. How many do you think you're going to get right? Talk about that. That's perfect. I didn't have a Mastiff. No? Okay, well, we'll take that instead.
Reloading.
That's a Lifeline's footsteps. Hey, Lifeline. Yeah, there's people.
Tango spotted. Danger close.
Pathfinder. Oh, it's not Pathfinder, it's a Revenant. Rude. There's a Pathfinder, I was right. Got the Robo gang in here. Oh, well, it was literally just a Robo gang. Oh, there's another squad. There's an Octane outside. You get out of here. What's going on? Now, as you can see, we accurately predicted the footsteps of 3 legends. Now, Pathfinder and Octanes are pretty easy. Lifeline's a little harder, but you can predict it, and I'm going to show you how. So let's go through. I'm going to do a blind test of the footsteps, and after each legend's footsteps played, I'm going to tell you who it is and how you can tell it is that legend. Here's number 1. You probably know which one this is. Any guesses? If you guessed Pathfinder, you are correct. Pathfinder has a very clunky footstep. Now there are 2 other legends that have very clunky footsteps too, but Pathfinder's is the most robotic and metallic out of it. Let's play the next one now. If you guessed Octane, you are correct. Octane has a sort of a spring in his step, and because he has shorter legs than Pathfinder, his pace, i.e. the number of footsteps he takes per second, is more. So you hear very fast-paced, springy steps. That's how you know it's Octane. Now, let's play the next one. If you guessed Revenant, you are correct. These footsteps are quite quiet in comparison to other footsteps. It almost sounds like he's sort of crawling through barbed wire. Just imagine Revenant's footsteps as very wiry. So those are the 3 metallic footsteps in the game right now. We have Pathfinder's the most robotic, and then we have Octanes who are very springy, and you can definitely tell he's kind of wearing some prosthetic legs. And then we have this wiry, kind of creepy sound for Revenant's footsteps. Can you guess who this is? It's probably quite obvious. This is one of the most well-known footstep sounds in the game. It is Bangalore. You can hear her smoke launcher hitting off of her body every time she runs. So it's very easy to tell this is Bangalore. She has a lot of kit bouncing around, so definitely remember that one. Very easy to remember. This one's a little harder. So before I reveal, let's just have a think about this. What do we know about this sound? It sounds pretty generic. There's not really any gear that can be heard that's telling anything about who they might be. But let's reveal her. It's Wraith. So how do we know it's Wraith? It's because she has the fastest footsteps per second in the game. She has very short legs, so to travel the same distance, she has to move her feet a lot more. So if you hear someone running, which literally sounds like they're running at the speed of light, it's obviously a sweaty Wraith main coming to hunt you down. The best way you can remember Wraith's footsteps is you just imagine the player on the other side of the screen is this amped up gamer that's drank so much G Fuel that when they knock you down, they smell your blood and they run at you as fast as they possibly can. That's Wraith mains in a nutshell. So yeah, if you hear that sound, you know, the super fast footsteps, that is Wraith. On to the next one. Now, who could these footsteps be? They sound sort of high pitched, they have quite a pace to them. They're definitely one of the faster paced footsteps. If you haven't guessed it yet already, it is Lifeline. Lifeline has some very high-pitched, sort of clanky footstep sounds. Now, they aren't as obvious as a lot of other legends, but you can tell there's this clankiness and then sort of like a very dull cloth sound to them as well. And she runs very fast too because she is a shorter legend, so with a bit of like practice you'll be able to tell Lifeline apart from the rest of the legends. This next one should be pretty obvious too. If you guessed Gibraltar, you are right. We have some very slow sounding footsteps, very dull, bassy footsteps and a bit of gear bouncing around too. Kind of similar to Bangalore's, but it's like a big bassy step, you know. You can really tell someone's stomping around with these footsteps, so that's how you know it's Gibraltar. Now, the next two I'm going to play are going to sound very similar, and you can't really tell who it is unless you hear them slide. So I'm going to play this. Once you hear them slide, you're probably going to guess who it is. Have any clues? It's Caustic. You can't really tell, it's sort of like this bassier footstep in comparison to the smaller legends, but like I say, you can't really tell until you hear Caustic slide and you hear those big gas canisters scraping along the floor. Now the next legend is going to sound very similar to Caustic's, but there's a difference in the sound when they slide. Can you guess who it is? It's Bloodhound. Let's jump straight into the next one. Now, these two are very, very difficult. Can you guess who it is? It's someone that's a very similar size to Bloodhound. If you guessed Mirage, you are correct. Now, Bloodhound and Mirage have almost identical sound profiles, which is really hard to differentiate them between the two. So if you hear this sound, it's either going to be a Bloodhound or a Mirage. You kind of can't really tell. Now, Mirage's footsteps are ever so slightly slower than Bloodhound's, but I can never tell the difference. So if you hear this sound, it's sort of like the most generic sounding footsteps, and you can't pinpoint it on anybody else. There's nothing that tells it away, like the speed of the footsteps or any gear bouncing around. Then it's most likely going to be Mirage or Bloodhound. Now this one should be pretty obvious. If you consider who are the legends left right now. If you guess Loba, you are correct. Now Loba sort of has this kind of metallic sound to her stepping. It almost sounds quite similar to Octane's, but it's a lot slower in pace, a lot less springy, and it sort of has this, you know, sound that's supposed to mimic high heels. So yes, if it sounds a little bit like Octane's, but it doesn't quite, it's probably Loba. Can you guess this one? Maybe not. But consider who are the last two legends, and it may give you a hint. Still no idea? This one is Watson's. Now, Watson's are very muffled cloth-like footsteps. They sound like she's wearing a lot of cloth, maybe some cloth shoes or something. You really cannot hear this one very well. They're very, very quiet. So that leaves the last legend, which is Crypto. Now, Crypto's footsteps are sort of like really hard to tell as well. Crypto's footsteps are very quiet. They have a higher pitch than other legends of his size like Bloodhound and Mirage, and he walks faster as well. He's not walking as fast as Lifeline or Wraith, but if you hear some very quiet, sort of high-pitched footsteps that have quite a pace to them, it may well be Crypto. So Like you can see, some footsteps are more easier to tell than others, but with experience, you're going to be able to guess who the legend is, or pretty much pinpoint it on like 1 or 2 legends, which is really helpful in combat because you know who you're going to go up against, what kind of abilities they may have, and how you should approach a fight. So hopefully this was very entertaining, informational, and maybe you learned a thing or two as well. So if you did learn something, let me know in the comments. If you have any of your own feedback, please let me know too. I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio! Did you know I stream almost every day from 7 PM UK time or 11 AM Pacific Standard Time? You can catch me live right here on YouTube, so make sure you have notifications turned on. I also have a new members program. Become a member for $2.99 a month, get your comments highlighted in videos, get a cool badge in live stream chat, get access to these cute emotes, and also gain access to my members tips videos, where you can ask me for any tips and I'll be making new videos weekly to help you improve your own game. Click the join button or click the link in the video description to get involved.